High five. We're at 1 month traveling.
Slovenia, definitely an amazing country. And as we were leaving from Vurberk, the castle, we were heading off towards, I want to check out some local wines. My princess loves her white wines, and they got beautiful, gorgeous areas, we've been told. So it's the Jerusalem Valley or Jerusalem Wine Trail. So as we're heading off towards that area, beautiful scenery as we're tinkering along, we decided to have a nice picnic somewhere literally amongst the wines and enjoy the picnic.
Amongst the vines.
Having a wine too. My beautiful princess, what does she say? She's like, oh, Bernhard, are you aware actually we're not far from Hungary? I said, really? Are we? Oh yeah, we're just about 20 kilometers away from the Hungarian border. I said, well, how about we just dash over there? Oh, there's a big lake there. I said, maybe let's head there for the lake. I said, look, absolutely, let's change plans. Let's head for Hungary. So we finished our picnic and off we went to Hungary. Oh yeah, I have heard of this lake before. Many German and European tourists actually go there. It's the largest inlet or lake in Europe, Lake Balaton. The Germans call it Blattensee. We headed there and like, let's check it out. And as we arrived there in town,
Off to the castle. Nice park. Nice castle.
beautiful. Now, Europe has beautiful castles. So yes, checked out the castle, the gardens. The town has charm. The Hungarian flair. Of course, we had ice cream.
Oh, yes.
We're warming up a little bit. It's just a festival that finished as well. It was nice. And we found a cozy spot, wild camping by the lake.
Next to the restaurant.
That was a nice experience. So we went for the night. We had a bit of fun. We spoiled ourselves and went to a Hungarian restaurant by the lakeside. Beautiful food, very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Welcome to Hungary. Beef tartare here at Lake Balaton in southern Hungary. Just made a little detour. Looks like an amazing entree.
Bon appetit. Actually, Hungary wasn't that exciting. Not what we saw of it. So the next day we headed back into Croatia, actually. Do a city like Zagreb, and then we'll head back into Slovenia. It just made sense to cut across like that, which is exactly what we did, and found a little camping ground outside the main city. And the next day we caught a train in to Zagreb to explore. When we arrived at the lower town of Zagreb, which is pretty much the entire city centre of Zagreb, and it's below the upper town, we were at the main train station with its historical terminal building. And we looked around us and saw beautiful parks and leafy squares and some really cool cafes. It had a very Central European flavour, and we know that it had a vibrant cafe culture. It's full of kind of offbeat museums, one of which is the Museum of Illusions, and there's another amazing one that is the Museum of Broken Down Relationships, where they've gathered a whole lot of artefacts and put them in there and told stories about it. Then we we walked up to the upper town, which is full of cobblestone streets. There are lots of buildings from Baroque palaces to neoclassical mansions, neo-Gothical churches. They're all parts of Zagreb's history. It's also full of cafe bars and quirky museums, some of which date back to the prostitutes and the prostitute area. There's the market, which is full of natural produce and local produce, which was really, really interesting. And the quirkiest thing of all that we saw was the little houses for cats and the way the cats are looked after and fed. So we had a really interesting time and explored Zagreb before heading back to the campsite.
Well, after exploring Zagreb, we continued on our journey back to Slovenia on the asset we were really looking forward to, which was our bear hunt. And as we went on to that trail, which was a gentleman that we made contact with, who gave us actually a hint where it's most likely where we can find some bears, which was via Wikilog, we actually followed that track. And as we're meandering through beautiful scenery, initially not far in the distance, probably about 400-500 meters, I spotted something. It's like, oh, Princess, stop. I think she was driving. And we had a look. And I thought, oh no, it's not a bear. But I could see, it's a wild animal. And I suspected it was a fox. We zeroed in on, and yes, all right, it's just a fox. But it was still exciting on our bear hunt journey. And we took a few photographs, watched the fox disappear into the forest, and we continued on our journey. As we are then going through the forest, again, I said, I was trying, I have to stop. We actually
At a
saw
poop.
some...
It was a poop. You can call it a bear scat.
Yep.
I was just a poo.
There's scats. And of course, with my hunting background, I like to analyze scats because that tells you a lot about what animal and how fresh and whatever it is. And actually on 2 occasions, we stopped there on the track and it was indeed bear scats. You can see that as well, the size of it is, and some was quite fresh. So really, the heart started pumping. Oh my God, there's a bear somewhere. And we were even paying more attention, literally just ticket touring along with maybe 10 kilometers an hour in just walking speed. Where's the bear? Unfortunately, that day we didn't see any bear. And we came to a first campsite, which we decided with short notice, which was a partisan camp. So very interesting as you travel through the Balkan and see, of course, some memories, of course, of what they refer to the homeland war. Without going too far in detail, it's very saddening. There was a partisan memorial, and that's where we actually set up camp and stayed for the night.
Following the Wikiloc trail the next day, we ended up stopping. The day was kind of uneventful and we didn't find a bear, but we meandered through lots of forests and saw the most stunning views. And Bernhard finally pulled up at this place on the edge of a mountain. Let me repeat that. The edge of a mountain.
Gorgeous view. Somebody was getting a bit scared. It took a bit of convincing.
I was like, do we really have to put the truck? All I'm thinking is I get out in the middle of the night to do a wee and I fall off the edge of the road. Like, there's things called a elusive view and it doesn't have to be quite so exact. Anyway, we did stay there and took lots of pictures because it was the most stunning view. And as we got in the car and thought we'll set up and cook some dinner, all of a sudden these clouds came over and it flippin' well hailed. Like, we're sitting in our truck and hail is pelting down. Bit like the Sunshine Coast in Australia. There's a whopping big hail stone. And then within 10 minutes it was all gone again. Like, that was an amazing phenomenon.
Quite amazing, especially because we had the most amazing view. And then literally you saw these clouds coming, like you normally see in the movies. They're coming in rapidly, closing in entirely. And then the hail started coming. 20 minutes later?
10. Yeah, gone.
Back to amazing view again.
That's what you experience in nature. It's great.
Scary and fun.
And now for the exciting day. Go on, you can tell it.
Okay, here we are on a bear hunt. Few days in. Seeing bear scats, seeing a fox, beautiful scenery. As we again meandering through the forest, eyes and ears open, unexpected, you wouldn't believe it. We see one of the rarest animals in Europe right in front of us. There, we're driving along, there is a lynx. What a gorgeous animal. You feel like getting out of a car and cuddling it. First, don't do that.
Don't get big.
Gorgeous. Absolutely, we were blown away. And this wild animal is just 5 meters away from our car. Just looks at us.
Has a scratch. Has a look around.
Has a lick. Goes to the right, sits there. You can see, I'm in the car. The cat is there, hardly 5 meters away. And we're whispering. It's like, can you see what I get? Like literally, pinch me. Is this real? Yes, it is. Stunning. And we really end up watching this amazing creature.
Quite majestical. And the end video that we got was this. He just meandered off, strutting, as if he didn't even see the car.
At some stage, he crossed the road right in front of us, went to the other side, and then just majestically, like a lion, like just lying on a log there through the bushes, says like, oh my God. And then another 5 minutes later, he comes out of a bush again and just walks in front of us on the track. We then even just waited, gave him some time because we didn't want to cause any undue stress unnecessarily. And we just let the car roll downhill, and there it was again. If we watched it for a few more minutes, it went off into the forest again. And we thought, no, we're not going to pursue it further. It's just been an amazing experience. so blessed by that. As a matter of fact, we put a small post up on Facebook, and we were then actually contacted by a senior researcher from the University of Ljubljana. He then found out that they have a massive program, lynx program, through several countries in Europe where they have reintroduced lynxes. There's only like not even 24 of lynxes around. And they asked us if we can provide them location and footage and anything we could tell them about it. So we've been in contact with this researcher who was absolutely grateful, and because it looked like that this lynx has not been on their radar. It also had no collar. Yes, some of them, but they have. You can see on their website. We put a link there for you as well if you're interested. Want to find out more about that. And we said, I said, maybe just in case, if you haven't got that animal on your list, naming rights, I'd have a name for it. We'll wait till you get back. A little phoenix, of course. Or if it's a girl, it's princess.
So after that really exciting event,
Well, okay, we didn't see a bear, but it's been so rewarding seeing a lynx in the wild. We know of people that have tried to see lynxes in the wild for literally years. So we are so blessed and so grateful for that. So we were actually at peace, and we haven't seen a bear after this exciting experience. Yet no bear. We were at peace, and we drove on, heading towards the magnificent Škocjan Caves in Slovenia.
we, needless to say, found a beautiful park right behind a range of trees and in the most beautiful paddock with lots of wildflowers. Anyway, we stayed there for the night.
You always make it sound quite easy, like we find a lot of amazing spots, but believe us, we do spend an hour, 2 hours at times to find a good spot.
Because in Slovenia it's illegal, so you can do it, but you need to be completely not seen, even to the point where we brush up the tracks.
Indeed. Hide our tracks.
Yeah, hide our tracks, brush the grass up so that it doesn't look as though a car's gone in there.
Because you can find €1,000 fine. That's quite heavy.
Serious. Can't do it. Slovenia has over 13,000 karst caves. Many people seem to head to the Postonia Caves, but we headed for the Škocjan Caves. It's just it's an immense complex. It's just 20 kilometres southwest of Postonia, and I think it was just the best. The entire Škocjan Cave system was created by the Reka River, carving its way through the gorge beneath the Škocjan village and vanishing into the dead lake, resurfacing again 34 kilometres away in Duino, Italy, and then it eventually flows into the Gulf in Trieste. It was just absolutely magnificent, and the history behind the finding of it, the exploring of 6.5 kilometres that we managed to walk, is just amazing. It is just one place in Slovenia that should not be missed.
And then after the incredible Škocjan Caves, we continued on our journey through Slovenia, as we have heard about these horse stud, which is there for literally centuries. World famous. It's the Lepison horses. So they're quite unique and wide. I heard a lot of it in my childhood in Germany and around the world. They are very famous and very expensive horses. We visited a horse stud, interesting to see. And along the way, we also dropped into a medieval town, Matavon, where we had some beautiful wine and prosciutto, enjoyed the view. Again, it was a bit chilly. Indeed, it was a quite beautiful place. And that was en route to the coastline of Slovenia. And then, as I was saying, heading towards the coast, the Slovenian coast, which is quite unique too, we headed for the town of Izola, which has also some Italian influence, of course, when you look at it historically. And Izola, we had, again, a magnificent campsite, which Princess has researched and found. I just can't comment her enough on that. And the next day, we explored the town of Izola,
Which was really quaint. It had a lot of flair. It had the cobblestones. It was very distinctly years old. I won't say how many years because I don't know. And there were many, many cafes lining the seashore, and there was a beautiful marina. And there we stopped around lunchtime, and I swear I had the best pizza that I have ever had in my life. It was truffles, prosciutto. It was just absolutely amazing, and I swore I'd never eat another takeaway, quick meal, pizza, Domino's again.
If I can just add, no offense to the Italian. It is the Italian influence.
Yeah, it was.
To die for the pizza, every acid, not just the truffles. To die for. In my meal, I had some seafood, incredible. It was beautiful to see the seaside flair of Slovenia.
And then in the afternoon, we went on to Piran.
Piran, another town in Slovenia before entering our next country,
It was
Croatia.
more medieval, wasn't it? That town.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Piran, Again, the flair, love it. As we are sort of coming on the Istrian Peninsula, of course, which is part Slovenia and then mainly Croatia, that Italian influence, molto bene. It's just, you can tell in the food, the people, the mentality, that medieval aspect, Roman aspect, it's just there, no matter what town you go to. That was grand.
But amazingly, we had met a man on the Facebook site, Overlanding Europe, who said that he was in Piran. He's a tourist guide for privatized cycling tours and personalized tours. Amazing guy. And so we sat down, met him, sat down and had a cup of coffee, and he told us all about the area. It was amazing.
Again, Dario, beautiful man. He actually saw us the day before at Škocjan Caves. So he actually approached us, and then we could time it, but he actually caught up for a coffee. And such a beautiful, and he invited us even, and he wanted to tell us more about the local culture, and he did. And then he introduced us to torta, S' torta, like I told, so unique, which is for that region, represents what the region stands for.
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing.
And he also gave us incredible tips because he's so knowledgeable. He's there, he's the local person, about Croatia, where to go, what to do, where maybe to stay away from, and even beyond Croatia, other parts of the Balkan. Just fascinating and beautiful man. And the tours he organizer, I can highly recommend that if you're into cycling or other private tours. He's a specialist in his field and it's very, very knowledgeable. So that was really
an excellent way to finish our weeks in Slovenia.
Indeed, especially as I'd say, but Slovenian people in general are a little bit more reserved, and Dario is like, wow, just so open, so amazed.
And very generous with his time.
Beautiful finish. And that's right, with him as well, we also visited near Piran the town of Porto Rosa, so which is the port of roses. Beautiful, another castle to look at. It just doesn't stop.
So it's goodbye to Slovenia.
What an amazing country. Awesome nature, somewhat reserved people.
But we do have to tell you that wild camping is highly illegal, so check your Google Maps and be very discreet. Cover your tracks.
And if you like this content, smash the like button, subscribe, and remember,
it's never too late